Hello, 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 everyone. I'm Brenda Douglas, and listen, I could not let another day go by without my doing a review and recap of my favorite show, Love and Marriage Huntsville. I love this show. They are so authentic. They're not fake. It's just I love this show. I know that some of you may or may not like reality, but I love this show. It's not ratchet, you know what I mean? But it's like everyday drama. I love Love and Marriage Huntsville, so that's what we're going to be discussing today. In this video, we're going to be looking at season 3, episode 3, okay? And we're going to be looking at this from a self-love perspective. Now, some of you may be asking, well, what's self-love? I love myself. But listen, self-love is not an arrogancy, is not pride. Self-love is when you honor and value who you are, okay? And then it's evident in your words and your actions and your belief, okay? You have to make a conscious effort every day to just love on yourself, okay? And embrace who you are unconditionally, okay? Diane von Furstenberg, I think is how you pronounce it, Furstenberg, I'm sorry, once said that the most important relationship in your life is the relationship that you have with yourself. Because no matter what happens, you will always be with yourself. Okay? In short, self-love is knowing who you are, loving who you are unconditionally, and then teaching the world how to treat you. Again, when you love yourself unconditionally, it shows in your words and your actions and in the decisions that you make. Okay, so listen, when I first heard of Love and Marriage Huntsville in Alabama, I'm like, Alabama, Huntsville, Alabama? I assumed that Huntsville, Alabama was this little small town, right? With very few chocolate people, right? I'm like, okay, what are they going to do? But I was really surprised to learn that Huntsville, Alabama has a population of over 460 something thousand people, guys. And compared to Washington, D.C., that has 692,000 something people. 400 and something thousand is a lot of people. That population is pretty large, okay? So last season there were 3 power couples. There was Marsau, Tisha, and Kimmy and Maurice, and then Melody and Martell. Which Melody and Martell, that's a whole video. That can be a whole video by itself, okay? And so what happened with Melody and Martell is Martell cheated. We all know that story. That song, same old song, same old song, same old consequences. He cheated. Now they're divorced. Okay, so now the couples in season 3 include again Marsau and Tisha, Kimmy and Maurice. They have Tiffany and Lewis, who is they're new. That's the new couple this season. And then Melody and Martell are still in this season. However, they're divorced now, so their divorce is final. But they are still in the loop. Okay. So let's go back to what I was saying. Self-love has to be cultivated every single day, okay? And you have to learn to make a conscious effort to align your actions and your words so that it reflects how you feel about yourself. It reflects that you love yourself so that you can teach the world how to treat you, okay? So we're looking at their actions, their beliefs, and their words that display their beliefs, so that we can develop a habit of consciously becoming aware of how our words and our actions may or may not align with self-love, okay? So the show begins with Letitia going to visit Melody. So Melody invites Letitia to come over to her home. Melody just bought a home after her divorce. And so Letitia goes bearing the chocolate, is it chocolate champagne? She goes bearing a gift to give to Melody, because I don't know if you remember, but all last season Melody and Letitia was at each other's throat. Melody was stressed because her marriage was on the rocks, and then she has like 4 kids. I'm sure that was in the back of her mind. And it was public. Her divorce or her breakup was very, very public. Again, the husband was cheating. That was a whole drag out fight. Anyway, the point is that in the midst of Melody going through what she was going through, Letitia would make off comments. She would make off comments about Melody's marriage. And she would say stuff like, just because your marriage is breaking up doesn't mean that mine. And so Tisha she kept accusing Melody of trying to break up her marriage, as if that's even possible for anybody to break up your marriage. But anyway, nonetheless, they were in a bitter odds with each other. So in season 3, it begins by Letitia being invited by Melody to go over, and so Tisha goes to visit Melody, and I love the fact that Melody, she offers to have a glass of wine, and she starts off by advising Letitia to seek marriage counseling. They asked each other, how you doing? So Melody advises Letitia to go to get marriage counseling so that their marriage doesn't end up like hers, which is in divorce, okay? Which I thought was pretty commendable, very big of Melody to even advise that. And then to say, because it's almost like she had empathy and put herself in her shoe. And so she advised Tisha to go and seek therapy, whether their marriage was good or not. She was saying how beneficial it is to have that therapy, so that their marriage can move forward. So I thought that was pretty commendable. And then I thought that was pretty commendable because, and this is the love note or the self-love note that we need to pay attention to here. Forgiveness is not for the other person. Forgiveness is for you, okay? Forgiveness releases you from bitterness and bondage and hatred, and it allows you to be free to love again, to be free to build your relationships, okay? So I love that Melody was so pleasant with Letitia. She could have been bitter. She could have held a grudge, but she chose not to, okay? And not only that, she decided to mend that relationship, because when you think, okay, what does one have over the other? What has one achieved compared to the other one? None of that was a factor. Melody embraced Letitia and invited her into her personal space. So I thought that was pretty commendable. That again, Melody did not hold a grudge. Okay. Now, the other thing is that Melody started sharing, because Letitia was like, well, what are you doing? What are you up to? You're going to date again? And Melody is like, no, I want to use this time to work on me. I want to use this time to know who I am, I'm relearning who I am. I want to use this time to learn more about who I am. And I thought that was so awesome, because so often people jump from relationship to relationship to relationship, but they don't stop and take a time out to understand who they are. Okay, so I love that, and I think that it's a great idea for people to, again, take a time out, because when you've been in a relationship for 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, you know what, it's important to take a break, because you kind of lose a part of you. You've been accustomed to, I guess, embracing the other person, compromising, doing what they want to do, and really, instead of you thinking as an individual, you've been thinking as a team. Okay, so when you're not in a relationship, it's very healthy to take a break, take a time out to reassess who you are and what you want. Look at your boundaries to see if they need to be adjusted for the next time. Like, it is really a great idea to rediscover who you are. Okay, so I thought that was so phenomenal. Okay, so again, the self-love tip for this one is to take the time to reflect on what lessons you've learned, on who you are now. Really, all of us who we are today is not who we were 5 years ago. And I would dare to say that in 5 more years, when you reassess who you are, you'll discover that you're not the same 5 years from now. Okay, so the next scene, which I think is hilarious, the next scene is Martell, right? Martell is putting snake repellent in his mother's yard, right? I think that is so hilarious. Why? Because he's putting down this snake repellent or trying to keep the snakes away, and yet someone perceive Martell as a snake. That is so funny that I'm sorry, guys, I couldn't help but laugh. But anyway, he and his mother Marlene, who I think she is such a sweet lady, he and his mother has a conversation, okay? And yes, Marlene says, well, Melody will always be my daughter-in-law. So, so sweet. And yet at the same time, yes, she was hurt that her son, um, well, I don't know if she was hurt because of what her son did or because of the consequence. But at the same time, she was hurt. Okay, but I kind of don't like the fact that she was saying that they're grown folks and that everybody should stay in their lane. And while that it is true, grown folks, like when a person gets to a certain age, the parents are no longer liable or responsible for their decisions. Okay, so as an adult, as a grown man, yes, he is responsible for his own decisions, and whatever he does or decides to do, it no longer falls on the mother. When for those of us who are parents, or mothers, when our kids do something when they're young, we take that responsibility on ourselves, and we kind of feel like it's our fault. Well, he is a grown man, and so I do agree in that regard that his decisions are his own. But I do believe that to a certain extent, everybody should stay on their own lane. But also, I also know, and this is a self-love note, that mothers have the power to change lives, okay? I don't know. I don't care how old my son gets. If I see him steering in the wrong direction, my heart is going to say, please don't get hurt. Please let me steer you to a good place, okay? Now, he can take it or leave it, but I feel like it's my responsibility, okay? Mothers have the power to change lives, okay? Mothers have the power, they're influential. They have influential power. And, for some of these guys, they will only listen to their mother. They will only listen to their mother, and they respect their mother. So, in that regard, I think Miss Marlene, she could probably try to talk to her son. I don't know. Some of them will do what they want. Some of them are rebellious and do what they want anyway. But anyway, I think again, mothers have the power to change lives, and your influence as a mother is powerful. Okay. Meanwhile, at the at Blaque, okay, which is what is it? A wing and it's like a bar. It seems like a sports bar. I'm not sure. A cigar bar, I know for sure. But anyway, I'm sorry guys if you hear my dogs. But anyway, so they're at Blaque, okay, and Marsau the motivator is giving a pep talk to his staff, okay, about quality customer service, which I absolutely love. I don't care what your skin color or race is. Everybody deserves to be treated with respect and with honor, okay? So I love how this starts off with, again, Marsau the motivator talking to his staff, okay? Because, listen, sometimes people believe that just because you're the same race, it means that you should patronize them. But you know what? I think that quality is quality, and great customer service draws people, and it keeps them coming back. It gives you repeat customers, okay? And personally, I don't patronize any business that does not have great customer service, okay? I don't. I just don't. I'll go to the next store. Anyway, it's not about me. Anyway, so I love the reminder that people can get wings and alcohol from anywhere. but people will pay for value and great service, and I think that is so absolutely true. So right now Blaque is brand new, so it's in its peak season, but once it dies down, then people are really going to start looking at the quality and the customer service to make a decision as to whether or not this is their place. Okay. So Marsau also sits down with the general manager, who is Jaylin. And I think it's so funny because when Jaylin was talking to Marsau, it's like Jaylin, I could hear Kimmy through him. Like Jaylin handled it with such diplomacy, with such tact. I was very impressed. I said, now he acts just like his mom. He said what I can hear her saying in that regard. He was saying how he would need help. He recognizes weaknesses. Let me not jump. Let me back up for a second, okay? First and foremost, the negative self-talk and the excuses, not okay, okay? Especially if you are, sorry guys, that was my dog. Anyway, the negative self-talk and the excuses, okay, that makes my hair stands up on my arms. Now listen, and what I mean by that is when he said, I am not a people person. Who doesn't have to deal with people, guys? And I know some of you are saying, well, he's fresh out of college, he's still young, this is his first managerial job and he's still learning. And that is you're absolutely right. And yet at the same time, again, self-love has to be practiced on a daily basis, okay? So sometimes we have to catch ourselves saying things that are detrimental or things that won't work in our favor, okay? So saying that I'm not a people person when in fact no one can survive alone. Everybody needs somebody. It's just not a great idea. I know you guys in the comments are not going to like that, but that's okay. You're entitled to your opinion also, okay? We all need a social network. No one survives alone. No one can have success alone, okay? So even if you are an introvert, I think that I am somewhat an introvert. Like, I can be around people, but I like to retreat to my space. And I'm very particular about who comes in my space, okay? So being around people doesn't mean, I'm sorry, being around people or being a people person, I'm sorry, let me back up for a second. Not wanting to like, Jaylin's job as a manager in a cigarette bar, it requires him to constantly interact with people. So to me, it contradicts. Like, you can be a people person from 9 to 5 and go home and have your space. That's me. That is so me. And I'm not making this about me, but what I'm saying is that to confess that you're not a peaceful person in that type of role, it is just not good for business, and it is not great for him in terms of helping him get out of that. He may be that way. Yet at the same time, he has to work on it to get out of that mode, okay? That's like saying, I don't like people, I don't have patience for people, I don't want to deal with people, I'm not interested in people. Again, everybody needs somebody, okay? And like I said, he may very well be an introvert, and that's fine. But even some introverts have to come out and switch into extrovert every now and then, okay? So, self talk is very critical to self love. You have to watch what you're saying and be conscious of what you're saying. And then change the dialogue if necessary, okay? Okay, and the other thing is that the worst thing you can do is expect someone else or give someone else or make someone else responsible for your professional development, okay? That is like the worst thing you can do, is kind of give somebody that responsibility for your to be give someone else Sorry, guys. Make someone else responsible for your professional and personal development. That personal and professional development is your responsibility. And some of you are still waiting around for your boss to acknowledge you. You're still waiting around for your boss to promote you. You're still waiting around to get this big raise that will never come. Why? Because the ball is in your court. You are responsible for your own personal and professional growth, okay? So take charge. Take charge of your career. Seek training. Embrace opportunities to network. Observe the competition. Watch videos. Read books. Watch TV shows, educational TV shows. Now, that's one thing. Those are some things that Jaylin can do to take charge of his career. He could also watch TV shows. Like this is one show called Bar Rescue, where he goes into a restaurant and he ends up changing the atmosphere. And I guess my point is there are things that Jaylin can do to take responsibility or control of his professional development. Again, the worst thing you can do is expect or put that ball in someone else's court. Now, some of you are saying, well, Marsau, that's Marsau's company. And while it is Marsau's company, if Jaylin develops himself, he can take those skills with him. And he doesn't need Marsau. It is what it is. And you know, there's no such thing as job security, guys. There is absolutely no such thing as job security anymore, okay? So again, Jaylin is able to take whatever skills he learned and the ability to proactively build himself. He can take those skills and he can apply it elsewhere, okay? So again, self-love tip: never make someone else responsible for your professional and personal growth. Okay. Now, what I love is Jaylin's response. Jaylin did not get defensive towards Marsau. He did not say, "Well, you know what? You told me you were gonna get me a manager." I don't see what, like, the way his approach, you know, his tone of voice, his words that were carefully chosen. I'm telling you, he acted like Kimmy. But the point is, Jaylin was solution minded. He switched to being solution minded, and again, he was very tactful, and he didn't take it personal. Okay, conflict is inevitable, but the faster we get to the solution, the less drama we have to deal with. So I like how Jaylin kept his cool and he thought in terms of what is the solution to this. Okay, he didn't get into his feelings, he didn't take it personal, but he said, you know what, why don't we hire another manager? Why don't we, now I don't know about assistant manager, I don't know if that was a good suggestion, but why don't we hire someone who is able to come in and train me, or we can work together, okay? Again, solution. He focused on the solution. And as when we're loving on ourselves, or when we're implementing self-love, we need to focus on being solution minded, okay? So he admitted, and that's the other thing, he admitted that he had a shortcoming, okay? So he admitted it was a humble approach, okay? And it was very courageous, okay? And that sets you up for success. When you are humble and you can admit that you have flaws and you have some things that you need to practice on or work on, that sets you up for success. Ooh. That sets you up for success. I had to say that again because that was going the wrong way. The point is that so I love how Jaylin took charge of that, and he made it into something positive, and he became solution minded, and he came up with a solution that will work for both of them. Now, obviously, there's some tension between Martell and Miss Vanessa, right? Because Miss Vanessa invites Martell to come and talk to her, to have a meeting with her, okay? First of all, when Martell comes to the house, she's like doing the hand motion, like, I don't want to talk to you right now. And she may have been saying this is not the right time, because she wanted to meet with him one-on-one, away from the kids, away from Melody, who's her daughter. She just wanted to meet one-on-one with him, okay? And so I like how they chose to meet in a public place, right? That way, if anything jumps off, then we got some witnesses now. Yes, things are happening in public, broad daylight. People don't care sometimes. But she knows that he is a ticking time bomb. Okay, so she knows that he's a time bomb. She took ticking time bomb. She chooses a public place, and then she chooses her words very carefully because she knows that he can get overly sensitive and easily offended. Okay, so she starts the conversation by saying, "Listen, I'm not here to attack you or to place blame." Okay, she goes on to say, "It's hard to heal when the pain is still being inflicted." She explained that it was not her intent to keep him from seeing his kids. So obviously, Martell went on to the social media sites and accused Miss Vanessa of withholding his kids or not allowing him to see his kids. Well, as a result of that, of course, we fans dished back. It wasn't me, but I'm just saying. People got upset about that when in fact it wasn't her intent. And this is what she's explaining to him. It was not her intent to keep them kids from him, okay? And she explained that people were attacking her and it was a lie, okay? But I love how she carefully and calmly chose her words so that he doesn't get offended, okay? She communicated what she was feeling. She shared how she felt, and that's one thing that is and she explained her position, okay? Listen, you must communicate. You must communicate your boundaries. You must communicate your intentions. If there's a misunderstanding, you should meet up so that you can communicate and you can talk and you can clear the air. Okay, so that so you can be in a place of peace. Okay, so that you can do it, and especially when you have kids in the middle there. You know, if there are no kids in the middle, you might be all right. But for the most part, they all have to work together. These are young kids. The womb is very fresh. And so that's what she was pretty much explaining to him. Again, it's hard to heal when the pain is being inflicted. In order for us to all heal, including the kids, including my daughter, including me, including your mother, including you, because they have been together, I want to say, they have been together for over 10 years, okay? That's a long time to be a unit, okay? But I love how she shared that she told him that she forgive him, so she didn't just, she shared it, she said it, "I forgive you," okay? And I love that, okay? And I love how she said that, we have to do this for the sake of the children, okay? And I love that too, because just because adults are in conflict, and this is for those of you who are co-parenting and you don't necessarily like each other, listen, just because the adults are in conflict doesn't mean that the children have to be in the middle, guys. Oh my God. So just keep that in mind, okay? And I also like how Miss Vanessa said, listen, trying to be happy doesn't mean that you have to live in a world that does not exist. In other words, she was saying live in your authenticity. Oh, that's a word. I love that. Live in your truth and don't live to please others, okay? Anyway, so this meeting I think went really, really well. She closed the meeting by encouraging Martell to stop putting their business on a public platform. That is so true. Some things don't belong on social media. It just doesn't. It just doesn't. So she encouraged him to keep the business out of their business off of the public platform for the sake of the children, if for no one else, okay? Listen, guys, someone is always watching you, okay? Here's this self-love note. I'm sorry. Someone is always watching you, whether you want them to or not, okay? Especially children. Children are always watching you. Listen, and they pay more attention to your actions than they do your words, okay? So be careful, be mindful that someone is always, always, always watching you, okay? So you need to be an example, okay? An example at all times, whether you want to be or not, okay? They hugged each other. That was a really nice meeting. They hugged each other and then they went their separate ways on a piece. Okay, so now it shifts to Destiny. Now, Destiny, in the previous season, she and her husband were up there sometimes. She also is now newly divorced, and she is now, I guess, accepting the idea of being divorced. She was married for 1 year, and this season, season three, is when she announced that she and her husband are divorced. And actually, they were going through the divorce, obviously, at the same time that Melody was going through her divorce. But she pretty much, set back. I don't know if Destiny's one of those, she liked to keep things hush hush. But when you're on a reality show, people dig, okay? Get into my next point. Get into my next scene, which is Lady Night Out. Ladies Night Out. So it is Destiny's birthday, right? So all of the sisters, all of the girls, all of the girlfriends gather so that they can have dinner, okay? And they invite the new lady, lady who's new this season, who her name is Tiffany, and she's with the Chamber of Commerce. So she invited Tiffany to come to Destiny's birthday party because I think that somehow or another Destiny is affiliated with the Chamber of Commerce, and it wouldn't surprise me because Destiny has her own beauty supply store. Okay, so Melody invites Tiffany. Okay, so they're at this birthday party, right? And they're eating or about to eat. And all of a sudden, Tiffany is being introduced to folk, okay? And Tiffany is like, okay, wasn't Monster, like when she's introduced to Kimmy, wasn't Monster the one who was vaping in the bathroom? And she said that like several times, guys. Monster is a young guy. I want to say Monster's probably a teenager now. At any rate, she was like, well, isn't he the one that was vaping in the bathroom? Well, isn't then when she met Destiny, she was like, well, isn't your husband, weren't you at this party? Obviously it wasn't Destiny, it was another female that Destiny's ex-husband, now ex-husband, was with at this event. So it was not Destiny. And so, anyway, I guess my point is like this Tiffany rubbed me the wrong way, right? It's one thing for you to know information that can hurt someone, but it's a whole nother thing for you to just kind of blast them. And she was just pew 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 pew, like she was just she. Tiffany didn't sit well with me. She's already not sitting well with me. But I guess the thing is, when you're in these reality or on these reality shows, it is what it is. People dig for information so that they will have something to come at you if they if they need to or if they want to. That obviously seems to be the thing with reality shows. So anyway, this Tiffany is just throwing everything out. But when she got to Destiny, and when she said, "Wasn't your husband the one that was with so she mistook Destiny's husband. She mistook. She made a mistake by saying that. Well, I don't know if that was a mistake, but Destiny wasn't the one she was talking about who was with her ex-husband. They were married, obviously, at the time. But the point is that it upset Destiny so bad that Destiny had to take a time out from her birthday dinner, and she ran in the bathroom, and she was truly hurt. Guys, okay. Self love note. Know when to say things and how to say them. And if it's even the appropriate time to say it. In my opinion, at the dinner table celebrating her birthday is not the time, and when she's finally embracing, or maybe she's coming to terms with the fact that her divorce is final. Anyway, the fact to bring up the another woman, or the fact that her ex-husband or her husband at the time was with another woman, at her birthday dinner, that is just not the time. That is very, very tasteless. Okay, know when it is appropriate to say things and know how to say them, and then ask yourself, does this person need to know this information? Why does Destiny need to know that her husband or ex-husband was with someone else? Like, who does that benefit? Like, I'm not feeling this, Tiffany, already. I don't know. You can chime in the comments if you. I'm not feeling this, Tiffany, right now, because she was just slashing and this was the first time that she met them. And yes, she's telling all of their business, putting them all on blast. I'm telling you, I just wasn't feeling it, and I was really, really, really disappointed when Destiny ran to the bathroom after this lady did that. Like I said, her bringing that up, and you do have people who would do that. They'll bring something up or some information that they have that they kind of sometimes want to dangle it over you, and they bring it up at the worst time just to make you feel bad. That just really, really disappointed me. So I'm interested in seeing where this goes with this whole Tiffany girl, Tiffany lady, I should say. And that brings me to my final self-love note, and that is, listen, attempting to put out someone else's light won't help yours shine any brighter, guys. It just won't. It won't. It'll make you look like the bad guy, and it'll look like you can't be trusted. Okay, so that is my recap, guys. I think that, I don't know, I'm still thinking about this whole Destiny thing and the fact that she did that, and even if it were true, it was just not the appropriate time. But I can't even imagine how that must have felt to get that news right in front of everybody, and they are just hearing that she's divorced, but still, Anyway, guys, so listen, this is my favorite show. I want to thank you guys for listening to my little commentary or review of this show. I love this show, and I am very, very, let me just say, let me just stop and say, I am so, so glad that Tisha did not do a lot of whining this episode. Did you guys notice? Yes, she did tear up. There was one time when she teared up. Excuse me. I don't remember exactly. Excuse me, guys. I don't remember exactly what happened. It was when Kimmy was pulled. No, that might have been the last episode. Anyway, this was a good whiny-free episode. Okay, I did not have to listen to Tisha whine the whole time or say, let's just move forward. Then the next thing you know, she's bringing something else up. Ugh. Okay, I want to stop talking about her. Anyway, guys, so I hope that you have enjoyed this review. Listen, if you are not watching Love and Marriage Huntsville, go ahead and click on it on Saturday. On Saturday, I think it's 9 Central. Here on the East Coast, it is 8. Is it 8 or is it 9? And it's on OWN. It's on OWN. It's on the OWN network. So look, go online, look up OWN, and find out exactly what time it is in your area, okay? It is a great show, and I just really pray that it, oh, I shouldn't say pray, I do. I really, really hope that these people will blossom and that they will really, really do some great things. It's crazy how this show started off in one direction with the comeback group and them wanting to build houses or whatever have you, but then it took a left. It went way left, okay? But it has been exciting to me. I love to look at these shows, and I love to learn lessons, and I love to, I have this ability. Well, I've worked on it. I do have the ability, but I've worked on it. I've worked on trying to find the light at the end of the tunnel in every situation. I train myself to do that. I train myself to learn the lessons in the midst of the chaos, okay? So I invite you to do the same. I hope that you guys have enjoyed this review. This is my first review of a reality show. So I promise that it will get better, okay? But listen, if you have not subscribed to the Self Love Club, go ahead and subscribe to this channel and hit that little like button and the notification so that when I do my next one, you'll be invited. I am going to strive to do lives right after the show so that we can have a dialogue, okay? All right, guys, thank you so much for listening. I'm going to go and make some dinner and get my dogs some dinner, and I will talk to you soon. Thanks for watching.